Welcome everyone. Welcome back to Estate Planning 101 with Dr. Titi Adegbile. It's good to have you back here. Today we want to talk about estate planning and remarriage. Estate planning and remarriage. We want to have a conversation today with you. If you are a widow or a widower, or maybe you even know someone who is a widow or widower, then this information is for you. Marriage is for life. Marriage is only for our earthly existence. After death, marriage ceases. So once one party to a marriage has transited to the great beyond, the marriage is over. Because marriage subsists till death do you part. At the point of death of a spouse, the marriage is over. The surviving party is free to remarry. In general terms, it is unwise to remarry while still grieving the loss of the deceased spouse. There should be a grieving period. You need to allow yourself to heal. Yes, you heard me right. You need to heal. You need a period to find and situate yourself once again. You see, grieving includes the entire emotional process of coping with the loss. Else, your subsequent marriage may be tragic. I know some people in this category, and they absolutely regret their second marriage. So you need to take your time before plunging into a second marriage after the loss of your spouse. So today we're talking about estate planning and remarriage, and I will illustrate with this story. It may be familiar to you. A gentleman, Henry, married the love of his life, Rebecca, and they were blessed with 3 girls. All of them girls are now young adults, and one of them is likely to get married soon. The younger 2 are twins and are rounding up their undergraduate programs, one in psychology, the other in mathematics. All of a sudden, life happened and Rebecca fell ill. She suffered a massive stroke. One thing led to the other, and finally she died. Henry was inconsolable for pretty much a long period. He just could not find himself again. At a point, his girls began to ask him, "Daddy, when are you going to get married? You need to remarry." And then he began to consider it. And we're at that point. What do you need to know as a widow or widower when you want to remarry about estate planning? What are the legal aspects of remarriage for you to note in estate planning? For instance, if you are marrying again after a first marriage, there are considerations to examine seriously. For instance, are you really ready to remarry? Have you stopped grieving for your lost spouse? For some people, grieving could take a whole lifetime, but at least you would have gotten yourself together, pretty much. If you consider remarriage while still grieving, you may get entangled with the wrong person or at the wrong time. It's important for widows and widowers never to get into what is called the rebound mode. The rebound mode. A rebound relationship means you're starting a new relationship before emotionally healing from a previous breakup. Some people use that period to suppress their emotions or to get revenge on their ex-spouse or their late spouse, maybe somebody who has hurt them. Or they quickly get into this relationship to avoid feeling alone. That is not good for you long term. And that is why many second marriages do not last. Another consideration is the issue of children. Do you have children? Does your intended partner have children? Children are a major consideration before contemplating remarriage. Children should be carried along in your plans to remarry. Don't fall under the error of assuming it's not their business. It is their business. They are part of the plan, so there needs to be a buy-in by the children, maybe on your side or on her side or on both sides. There should be a buy-in by the children when you are contemplating remarriage. Before remarriage is the ideal time to settle your estate plan so that the children are well taken care of. As soon as you remarry, it's starting afresh. So, if in your situation you are remarried already, you need to immediately put your house in order. Do you have a will? Did you have a will before your late spouse passed? It is imperative to settle your estate so that World War III does not happen on you. Don't be deceived by the cliche that all my children are born again, they're sensible, my spouse is sensible, I have a decent family, because it could be a costly error. Property issues usually cause a lot of strain in relationships. If you do not do so by planning your estate intentionally in your situation, it could be tantamount to wickedness or injustice against your spouse or against your children. So you need to do the needful. Tidy up your house now. Don't wait till it's too late. How does your marriage affect a will? If a person already has a will in existence before they legally marry their beloved, the pre-marriage will is automatically revoked once the marriage takes place. What are we saying here? If you had a will before and now you get married, automatically that marriage neutralizes or revokes your earlier will. If an individual does not subsequently make another will after they marry and before they die, then legally they are regarded as having died intestate. That is, they died without an estate plan. So you see, this information is important for you if you fall into this situation. Therefore, before you remarry, provide for your children. A major estate planning mistake is not providing for your children. In other words, your estate plan may leave everything to your new spouse and not provide anything to your children from your previous marriage. And that could be calamitous. Your estate plan should be specific as to what is being left to the children. We strongly discourage any type of oral agreement or arrangement that you would have with your new spouse to leave everything to him or her, and he or she is expected to take care of your children if you die first. The reason why that may not work is because you're not there to supervise what you have, the verbal instruction you have left. Once the property belongs to your new spouse, it is theirs. They are free to do whatever they choose to do with it. This means that they can specifically disinherit your children and leave all of your property to their own family and children. Therefore, if you want to leave anything to your children, do it intentionally now. Don't leave the responsibility to your new spouse. This is because it often leads to misunderstanding, greed, hurt feelings, and disinheritance, which I am sure is not your intention. So, updating your estate plan after remarrying is to make sure that your children are provided for. And this is one of the important things you need to do to keep peace and harmony in your family. Also, there is a need when you are contemplating remarriage to update designations to remove your previous spouse. That is important in all your documentation which you had prior his or her death. In addition to what we have discussed so far, if you have remarried, it's important to go through all of your other documents to make sure you update them and substitute the new name with the old. If they still name that individual who has passed, then it means that the person who has passed is still entitled to receive those items. So it is important that each of these items be updated to reflect what you currently want. Every marriage is meant to be a happy one, and to keep it that way, we encourage you to make sure that your estate plan is updated to meet your needs after your new marriage. If you have any questions or you have any concerns about how to do this or what is involved, we could help you. Thank you for listening today to Estate Planning 101 with Dr. Titi Adegbile. Remember, it's all about leaving a worthy legacy after you. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and comment.